سندعو الزبانية. Let him call his group. Let him call his people. سندعو الزبانية. We will call those over the hellfire. We will call the angels over the hellfire against him. And then the Prophet ﷺ is commanded, don't follow him. وَلَا تُطِعْهُ. Don't follow this man. And prostrate to your Lord and draw near. So these people were opposing the Prophet ﷺ. And from them was Abu Lahab, who is the uncle of the Prophet ﷺ, one of the closest people by blood to this man. And look at Abu Lahab, whose face was red like fire, and his wife Jamil, who's Qadiyah. They called her Jamil, which means the possessor of beautiful things. And this woman, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reveals in them the things that they did to the Prophet. When the Prophet gathered them all together, and he said, Wallahi, إِنَّ الرَّائِبْ لَا يَكْذِبُ أَهْلَهُ, that the one who leads the caravan will never lie to the people to lead them astray. إن كذبت على الناس جميعا لما كذبت عليكم. If I would have lied to all of humankind, I would never have lied to my family. وإن غررت الناس جميعا لما غررت أهلي. If I would delude the whole of humankind, وحاشا حاشا له. If I would delude the whole of humankind, I would never delude my own family. And he said, والله إني نذير بين عذاب أليم. I'm warning you of a approaching punishment, a great punishment. And Abu Lahab said, أَلِهَذَا جَمَعْتَنَا? Do you call us to tell us about this? And mocks him, مُسْتَهْزِئُونَ. وَكَفَيْنَاكَ الْمُسْتَهْزِئِينَ. Allah says, I will take care of the mustahzi'een. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told the Prophet, if you look, many of the ayahs in the Quran are for these mu'mineen that were undergoing incredible duress and suffering because they were spreading this message. So in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَاصْبِرْ عَلَى مَا يَقُولُونَ. Be patient about what they're saying. وَاصْبِرْ عَلى مَا يَقُولُونَ. وَهْجُرْهُمْ هَجْرًا جَمِيلًا وَذَرْنِي وَالْمُكَذِّبِينَ أُولِي النَّعْمَةِ. These were the people that Mala. They were the high people of Quraysh that were doing this. Not the low people, not the humble people. These were the Mala, the Wujahat. That's what they're called in the Quran. And they denied the prophets before them. They denied Shu'aib, and they denied Ibrahim, and they denied all of these people. So these people were denying the Prophet ﷺ, and they were trying to prevent people from coming. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, just اصبر على ما يقولون. Just be patient about what they're saying. Why? Because this cannot harm you. If they're not physically harming you, then be patient about what they say. Allah will take care of them. Allah will take care of them. And then He's told them, وَهْجُرْهُمْ هَجْرًا جَمِيلًا. Turn away from them in the best way. وَإِذَا خَاطَبُهُمُ الْجَاهِلُونَ قَالُوا سَلَامًا. And when the ignorant people call or speak to them, what do they say? Peace. They say peace. And this is the nature of Islam. It teaches يُرَبِّي الْإِنسَانَ عَلَى الصَّبْرِ. This is the nature. It nurtures a human being to be patient. And so this whole period for 13 years undergoing this incredible thing. If you look at Nadr ibn al-Harith, who was a shaitan, similar to, you can see him like media now, the role of the media, like television and these things. Because when the Prophet ﷺ would call people and tell them about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and about the akhirah, he used to sit and he would say, Halumma, come over here. I have more beautiful stories than his stories. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reveals وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَشْتَرِي لَهْوَ الْحَدِيثِ لِيُضِلَّ عَنْ سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ. That there's people from humankind that will spend their money on lahwa al-hadith, just vain talk, entertainment, to debar people, to take them away from the sabil of Allah. These people we know in this culture, the media, and now in the Muslim countries, because this spider's web has encompassed the whole globe, that people in the Muslim countries now are filled with television. Look at Ramadan. Countries now are filled with television. Look at Ramadan. Shaitan is tied up during Ramadan according to the mu'mineen. But don't forget, this is Shaitan al-Jinn. We also have Shaitan. And these people are more difficult and more harmful on the mu'mineen than Shaitan al-Jinn. These people don't get chained up during Ramadan. They get angry. They get vicious. These people now in the Muslim countries, Ramadan is the time when they put all the new television programs, like here in September. After the summer reruns in September, in the Muslim country, Ramadan. Why? Because they don't want them in the masajid praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They don't want people's ruh to come alive. They want to kill their intellect and kill their hearts and kill their spirit with what? Lahwa al-hadith. And they spend vast amounts of money on this. They spend vast amounts of money on this. To make one film, how much money do they do? And this is like Nadr ibn al-Harith. This is what he did. He used to purchase women who sang beautiful songs, and he would put them on the path to the people going to listen to the Prophet ﷺ, and some of the weak ones would stop and listen. And this is what they do. It's not the techniques have changed, you see. But it's still the same thing. The Quran is giving us archetypal structures whereby we can understand the nature of reality. The names have changed. Right? The names have changed. But Fir'aun is still there. Haman is still there. All of these, they just have different names. Now Henry Kissinger, or so-and-so, or so, but it's still the same. If you look in the dictionary under Taghut, in Fairuzabadi, he has 3 definitions. The first is any excessive thing from an idol or a beginner or somebody that worships other than Allah. And then he says, Al-Maradatu min Ahl al-Kitab, the rebellious from the people of the book. And then he says, Ka'ab ibn al-Ahbab, who was a big shaitan from the Jews in Khaybar. And he is called Taghut because the Quran reveals this about this man. I just started. Is a whole talk. Uqba ibn Abi Mu'ayyid, who was, a'udhu billah, the second, one of the worst people after Abu Jahl. He's the neighbor of the Prophet ﷺ, and he did terrible things. Once the Prophet ﷺ was praying, and he strangled him from behind, and he was actually strangling the Prophet ﷺ while he's praying to his Lord. I mean, it's unimaginable. We can't even imagine that. And Abu Bakr comes from behind and grabs the man and says, أَتَقْتُلُوا رَجُلًا أَنْ يَقُولُ رَبِّي اللَّهِ? Are you going to kill a man who is just saying, my Lord is Allah? Subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is what happens, you see, because these people are sick people and they want to oppose the truth. But the Muslims have to know that what the Prophet ﷺ went for was not for vain, for batil. It's because he knew the truth and he was delivering the truth. And we have to take it upon ourselves and recognize that there will be difficulties. We have gone through nothing that those people went through. We did not go through what Bilal ibn Abi Rabah went through when the rock is on his stomach and his shaitan will make it back on his deen, and he said, Ahad, Ahad, Ahad. And the Prophet said, leave this man. And he said, you're the one that ruined him. In other words, he was a stupid, ignorant slave that was under my control, and now you've got him believing these things that have completely corrupted his mind. You see, because he's just destroying their false criterion. And Abu Bakr said, let me buy him from him. And so he bought him. Bilal ibn Abi Rabah killed that man on the day of Badr. He killed that man. You see, because the truth will manifest itself. Now, the last thing I'm going to tell you, inshallah, is that there are reasons for ibtila. There are great gifts that come out of ibtila. The Prophet ﷺ said, those who went before you, they used to love ibtila like you love raha. They love difficulty like you love ease. Because there is benefit in ibtila. Ibtila teaches us about the izzah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It teaches us about Allah's greatness and our humbleness and humility before Allah. It teaches us about the dhul wal hawan of the slave before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that he can change. That he can change the state, وَيَقْرِبَ الْحَالِ. It teaches us that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if he gives people mulk, like he gave Ibrahim, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, أَلَمْ تَرَى الَّذِي حَاجَ إِبْرَاهِيمَ فِي رَبِّهِ أَنْ آتَاهُ اللَّهُ الْمُلْكَ, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him dominion and power and kingdom, Nimrud. And that's the reason why he's arguing and saying how great he is. You see, now this society now, the European and the American and the Japanese society, what they call the trilateral world, this is the world that is prancing about in the land. And we're in the midst of it. We are in the house of Fir'aun. Like Musa, who came out of the house of Fir'aun to call Bani Israel, to call them to freedom. We are in the house of Fir'aun here in this country. We have to recognize that. We are only a threat as an aqidah and as a movement. We are a threat to the injustices and the oppressions of this society. In the same way that the Prophet ﷺ was only a threat to that mala,